It's that time of year when many of us in the Northern Hemisphere are contending with really hot temperatures and possibly humidity as well. They make for some tough riding conditions, and so here are some tips on how to cope with it. And yes, it might seem strange listening to advice on this subject from an Englishman, but believe you me, it's so rarely hot in this country that when the temperature does rise, we need to pull out all the stops in order to be able to cope with it. And since you were wondering, yeah, this is hot rain. Yeah, it's quite rare, but we get it sometimes. Let's start with clothing, shall we? It's your first port of call even before setting out. So you want to have a lightweight jersey, definitely with a full-length zip, and then pair it with shorts that have got really minimal bib strapping on there. So that means that in combination, you can get loads of air circulating, even at lower speeds. Now, there's loads of different types of fabric available, of course, some of which promise even better heat management. So treatments like cold black, or on our ASOS kit, something called ice color, which means that the fabric actually absorbs less heat energy. And stuff like that can really make a difference. Hot conditions often go hand in hand with an increased risk from UV as well. So you need to make sure that you've taken adequate precautions. And that may well mean, if you're wearing a particularly lightweight and meshy jersey, that you actually need to put sun cream on your back, even though you're wearing something on top of it. And then if the sun is really fierce, you can actually use your clothing to help you out. So something like these cold flash arm warmers from Bellwether, and they've also got matching leg warmers called the Sol Air as well. So they give you much greater protection from UV light, but they also stop you getting hot. Then there is one last thing as well. I can never quite understand when people wear a hat underneath their helmet. Now, fair enough, having a peak to shield your face from the sun may well make it more comfortable, but it definitely makes you hotter. In fact, even hair makes you hotter, so you may well find, if you really mean business in hot conditions, you want to shave your hair off. I know, it's pretty extreme, but it will work. Definitely makes the vents in your helmet work more effectively. Before we set out, let's also talk about nutrition. Hydration is absolutely critical. So unless your ride's got loads of water stops, you need to make sure you take plenty with you. Because of the cooling effect of the wind, you can be sweating absolutely bucket loads and not even know about it, potentially getting through litres and litres of liquid. However, your body is really good at letting you know exactly how much you need to drink. Certainly research seems to suggest, although the jury admittedly is still out, that drinking to thirst is the right way to go, rather than forcing loads of water down your neck. Either way, what you need to remember is that you can't train yourself to do without water like you can food to a certain extent. So always have enough with you. Now, it's a good idea to have something other than just plain water in your bottles, particularly if you're out for a long time. You could use like an electrolyte tab, like the Science and Sport Go Hydro ones I've got, or if you need the calories, a carb drink with electrolytes in. And the great thing about an electrolyte tab is you can actually take a stash with you and then pop in your drink as you refill it as you go. Now, although you might not get as hungry when it's hot, your body is still burning through loads of calories. Apparently, you actually burn more calories trying to stay cool than you do when it's cold and you're trying to stay warm. So you definitely need to keep on top of it in order to avoid blowing. I don't know about you though, that when it's hot and I'm riding hard, I just don't feel like solid food. So I rely much more heavily on carb drinks and also gels. And if I can do another quick plug for our mates at Science and Sport, these gels have got electrolytes in as well. So you can keep on top of your salt intake, maintain that all important sodium balance. Now, if you're doing an event or a race, you might not have much control over this, but if you're just riding for the fun of it or for training, then you should definitely think about the time of day that you ride. So trying to make the most of the times when it's cooler. So people who regularly contend with extreme heat will often be on the bike by 5 AM, meaning they can be done and dusted when the temperature starts to climb. have a think about where you ride as well. So if you've got the luxury, try and plan routes where you can be sheltered from the sun as much as possible, and also avoid long, slow climbs where you can. The kind of climb where there's no cooling effect because you're going so slowly, and so you just sit there and bake. If you live in a cold climate, but you are going to be going somewhere for an event or a race, then it is possible to actually start to heat acclimatise before you've even left home. So all you need to do is supplement your normal training with 5 consecutive days of riding on the indoor trainer just before you go. Now, when you're on there, you don't need to absolutely smash it. What we're looking for is to start sweating. So if you turn the heat up in the room and then ride at a moderate intensity, that should get you sweating, and sweating profusely. And then all you've got to do is make sure that you drink loads and loads of fluid as well. And those 5 sessions really, really will make a difference. Now, there is one last thing we haven't covered. It's called doing a Mario, after the legendary Cipollini. You see, he has, quite frankly, the body of an Adonis, and so, rightly, he's concerned about tan lines. Which means that when he rides in hot conditions now, he does so without a jersey on and his bib shorts rolled down. Now, you can probably imagine that given our physiques, Mario and mine, are quite similar, and I haven't really got any tan lines to speak of, I actually do this quite a lot. You just got to bear in mind the whole sun cream issue. And Mario probably has a queue of people wanting to rub sun cream into his amazing body. I, on the other hand, I've just got to do it myself. Now, on that note, do make sure you subscribe to GCN. To do so, just click on the globe. And if you want a bit more content, randomly, we caught up with Mario in 2013. You can get through to that video just down there. Or for another classic, how about what not to wear when cycling? That's just down there. Can you see my pecs rippling? Can you? I'm tensing pretty hard. No?